Hello, and welcome to this Meta Horizon Worlds Code Blocks scripting tutorial. In this video, I will be creating an animation of a sink filling and draining. We will be using Meta Horizon Worlds Code Blocks scripting to create the animation. First, we will create the sink and water objects in Meta Horizon Worlds. Then we will use code blocks to create the script that will animate the sink filling and emptying. Let's start by opening Meta Horizon Worlds and creating the sink and water objects. Okay, here we are in Meta Horizon Worlds. I have pulled out a couple of assets from the stock library. I'm going to use a text box for my water. And by using the mark and setting a cyan color with an opacity of 38%, I now have a shape that we can see through. So I'm going to shrink this down and get it to where it fits inside the sink bowl. Just overlaps just a little so that as the level rises and lowers, it will look like it's filling and draining. Now I do notice that as I'm getting to the bottom here before it disappears, oh no, that's just the outline, so we're okay. I don't see any of the blue. That will work just fine for that sink. Let's try it over in this sink as well. Let's see if we can get this in here. This one should work just fine also. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, that one drains right down the drain there, and when it disappears, we don't see the shape of the water anywhere, but it is still inside of the sink here, and we can pull it back up, and we'll be able to make it look like the sink has filled. Okay, let's jump back into scripting and script that animation. Okay, here we are with a Meta Horizon Worlds Code Blocks script window. Let's give our script its name. Sink, fill, empty. We will create the variables that we know we will need. We will need an original position vector variable to store the position of our text box gizmo. That's the gizmo that we're using for the water in the sink bowl. We will need a trigger object. This will be the object that when a player enters will fill the sink, and when they exit the trigger will empty the sink. I need a water stream object. This will be the visual of the water pouring out of the faucet. We will simply show and hide that object. We'll have a water level offset number variable. Essentially, this will be the depth of your sink bowl. How quickly do we want the sink to drain? I'm going to set my drain speed number variable to 6. And how quickly do we want the sink to fill? I'm gonna fill mine quicker than it drains, so I'll fill mine over 3 seconds. Okay, now when world is started, let's send an event with delay. I'm calling mine post start. I'll explain why I do this in just a moment. Let's send post start to self after a 2-second delay. And then we'll handle the post start. So when post start is received, let's set the original position of that text box gizmo to that vector variable that we created. So set the vector variable original position to the position of self. Now keep in mind we are attaching this script to that text box gizmo that we are using for the water in the sink. The reason I delay storing the position of an object immediately after a world starts is if you have a reset button in your world, and in visitor mode, if the world is reset, in this case, the text box gizmo may not respawn back to its original position before this sink fill empty script begins to execute. By delaying it 2 seconds, this ensures that that text box gizmo can respawn to its home position before we store its position. Otherwise, your animation may not be properly placed in the world. Now, I'm using a trigger object to detect if we are filling or emptying the sink. You could create a second code blocks script and attach that to the trigger to listen for its events, or we can do everything right here in this one code block script by using the listen to events code block. So let's listen to all events from that trigger. So now that we can hear those events, we are going to listen for a built-in event called occupied. Occupied is a built-in Meta Horizon Worlds event that detects if a trigger is occupied or not. It's a little bit different than when player enters trigger. And I'm going to show you a quick video right here on screen if you'd like to take a look at that to quickly explain the difference. Occupied is always received with a player object. Now, when occupied is received, let's set our water stream visual to true. And let's move our self. Remember that our self is the text box gizmo that we're using for the water in the sink, to our original position that we stored earlier over our fill speed. How quickly do we want the sink to fill? Similarly, there is also a built-in event called empty. And what this means is when that trigger object becomes empty, there are no longer any players inside of this trigger. This one will be executed. And of course, empty is also always received with a player object. Okay, so empty is received. Now let's set that water stream visibility to false to hide it again. And we will move our self and this is where that offset comes in. We're going to move our self to our original position minus the offset on the y-axis only. To do that, we need to use the new vector from XYZ code block, set X and Z to 0, set Y to your water level offset. So now we're going to move self to our original position minus the offset on the y-axis over our drain speed time. All right, that's great. Now, currently, we could use this. However, when the world starts, we are leaving our text box gizmo that we're using for our water level at the full level in the sink because we are storing it at the full level. So when world is started, after our post start has executed, let's simply send the empty event to ourself. And now empty has to be sent and received with a player object. So we're going to send empty with Meta's server player or null player. This way empty will execute. It will hide our water stream and it will move the water level below the sink bowl. Great job. Let's jump back over into Meta Horizon Worlds and see the script in action. Okay, here we are back in Meta Horizon Worlds. We have the sink fill empty script that we just created. I have attached this script to those text box gizmos that we created earlier. With that, I have created a second text box gizmo that I am using as the water stream. And we also have the trigger that will be used to fill and drain the sink when it detects a player. I have wired the water stream text gizmo to the main block that we're using, as well as the trigger. And for this sink, I set its water level offset to a decimal of 0.17. I found that worked best for this particular sink here. I did the same thing for this sink. We have our main body of water, which is that text box gizmo. To that, I have attached the sink fill empty script, and I have wired the water stream gizmo and the trigger gizmo to it. I found that a water level offset of 0.26 worked best for me for this sink. Let's go ahead and start the world. Right away, we'll see those sinks drain. Okay, here we are in preview mode. Let's walk up and place our hand in that trigger. The sink fills, and when we remove our hand, the sink will empty. We'll see the same thing on this sink as well. Fills, and empties. There we go. Very good. Alright, and there you have it. That's how to create an animation of a sink filling and draining in Meta Horizon Worlds using code blocks scripting. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram for more updates. All of my social media accounts are linked in the video description. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more Horizon Worlds scripting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to support me, you can check out my Patreon page linked in the description below. If you found this tutorial helpful, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment below. I would love to hear about your own creations and other ideas you have for future tutorials. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay updated with all things Shadell VR creates. Thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep having fun in Meta Horizon Worlds. This is Shadell VR signing off. Bye everyone.